This is how it all began. In the swirling eddies of 1933, mere months after the Nazis' iron grip tightened on the Reich's throat, I severed ties with the steadfast Catholic Boy Scouts of Neues Deutschland. Those earnest gatherings in church halls, scented with incense and polished leather, where badges gleamed like tiny crucifixes under the vaulted arches, and pledged fealty to the Hitler Youth, slipping seamlessly into its Jungvolk echelon for lads aged 10 to 14, a whirlwind cadre of chance and flags fluttering like harbingers of destiny in the crisp Bavarian air. On April 13th, amid the spring's tentative bloom of lilacs and the distant toll of factory whistles heralding the new order, my induction crystallized, a rite of passage marked by the sharp salute and the leather-bound oath book pressed into my eager palms. A year hence, in the lengthening shadows of 1934, I ascended to patrol leader's mantle, the apex honor in our tight-knit troop of rambunctious boys, where I orchestrated hikes through mist-shrouded forests alive with the rustle of pine needles and the hoot of tawny owls, my voice, still cracking with adolescence, commanding the circles, firelit yarns, and the dawn patrols that tested our mettle against the chill dew. By June 1936, as summer's golden haze draped the Danube's lazy curves, I earned the freshwater sailor's brevet, transitioning to the Hitlerjugend's Marine HJ contingent, a realm of inland waterways where we navigated reed-fringed canals in sleek canoes carved from sturdy ash, our paddles slicing the glassy surface like silver blades, knots tied under the watchful eyes of grizzled skippers who barked orders laced with salt-tanged tales of U-boat shadows. That same sweltering season, I aced the marksman's trial at the Reichsgeschule Obermassfeld in Thuringia's rolling Thüringer Wald, the rifle's walnut stock warm against my cheek, the acrid bite of powder mingling with the earthy scent of leaf mold as bullseyes bloomed under my steady trigger finger. Credentials that branded me a prodigy of precision, my score etched in the ledger beside visions of naval glory. It seemed predestined then that post-abitur's ink-damp diploma, I donned the Kriegsmarine's blue, envisioning decks pitching under Atlantic gales, salt spray stinging like victory's kiss. Yet as a voluntary Schuljunge the Reich's edict loomed, a grueling quadrennium of service, for interminable years bartered for the eagle's wingspan, a tenure I recoiled from like a lash's sting, despite the siren call of scouting's camaraderie, the crackle of campfires ringed by harmonica hymns, the thrill of orienteering through fog-veiled valleys where compasses spun like dervishes, and the crack of .22 rounds echoing off quarry walls. No, that fettered fate chafed my restless spirit. Instead, I pivoted to the Luftwaffe's azure allure, the Neuburg airfield's distant drone of radial engines a beckoning psalm mere kilometers from my Munich doorstep. Yet the same snare snapped. Schuljunge's shadow demanded for years' fealty. A gilded cage I spurned with a scoff. Fate's fickle finger then intervened during my stint in the Reichsarbeitsdienst Sport Detachment at Donauwörth, amid the RAD's rhythmic reveille of pick and shovel under Thuringia's thunderheads, a glossy spread in the Illustrated Signal magazine, its pages alive with the staccato of newsprint ink, ensnared me. The nascent Fallschirmjäger, those Skyborn stormtroopers in herringbone twill, leaping from junkers' bellies like Valkyries chosen, their silk canopies blooming against anvil clouds. Probing deeper through whispered barracks bulletins and clipped recruitment pamphlets, I unearthed the elixir. A mere biennium of bondage, 2 years' whirlwind apprenticeship to the Eagle's elite. Irresistible, even for a Bavarian Blut UND Boden boy, dooming me to northern exile's frost-kissed forges, the chill winds off the Elbe a far cry from the Isar's indolent warmth. Unbeknownst to me, my mettle had already been assayed in the RAD's rigid ranks, my detachment Führer, a stern Saxon with a mustache like coiled wire, stumbled upon my sentry vigil in the century's shadowed booth, not ramrod stiff at the post, but perched cavalier on an upturned spade, a frothy quart of lager foaming in my fist, the malty foam flecking my lips like defiant stars. A bit of spirit, something out of the ordinary, the paratroops craved, that rogue spark amid the ranks wrote. And though I gleaned this gem only seasons later, in the retelling over ersatz coffee in Crete's rubble, it sealed my suitability. Audacity's alloy, the unyielding grit that turned conscripts to conquerors. Yes, and then my Odyssey, ignited in earnest. Mustered to the General Göring regiments, ironclad enclave in Berlin-Reinickendorf. That sprawling Luftwaffe bastion where concrete aprons echoed with the goose steps grind and the tang of aviation fuel hung heavy as fate. Days blurred in a haze of odes and outfitting. Civvies shed for field gray fatigues starched stiff as resolve. Ere I swelled the vanguard of the inaugural recruit cohort, herded northward by rail to Stendhal's somber spires, the train's rhythmic clatter a metronome to our mounting mirth and nerves. At the platform, a brass band's cacophonous caterwaul assailed us, an excruciating rendition of Alev Vogel's Sinshanda, its lilting melody mangled by off-key oboes and tubas wheezing like asthmatic walruses. Yet the ditty's whimsy whispered prophecy, for we fledglings were destined to soar as eagles, talons bared for the Reich's reach. We paraded through the town's cobbled veins in mufti motley, jackets askew, ties askance, our civilian garb a badge of the bold. For every soul sensed the sacrament. We'd enlisted in the Wehrmacht's whetted spear point, an elite forged in secrecy since 1936 from Göring's police cadre, now Luftwaffe's lethal vanguard. Disillusionment doused our dreams at the depot. No palatial Kasernen of polished parquet and porcelain thrones, but a Spartan hut sprawl, prefab planks pieced like pauper's puzzle, roofs rattling under the North German gale. Amusement's absurd tableau unfolded. We raw recruits, ragged ranks in rough-hewn ranks, dwarfed by behemoths before us. Colossi in crisp feldgrau, chests thrust like Prussian pistons, postures a paean to the Iron Chancellor's drill. At 172 centimeters, scarcely 5 feet 8 in my stocking soles, I felt a flea amid titans, my frame frail beside their forested forearms and barrel chests. Feldwebel Toshka, a Goliath with a gaze like glacial ice, lorded over the platoon. His moniker evoked the Slavic steppes he tamed. His bellow, a bassoon's blast that buckled knees. Leitenderbecker, an anomaly in our aerial aristocracy, dwarfed by diminutive stature, a wiry wisp with a wit sharper than shrapnel, herded my section, his pixie frame belying a bark that bit deep. Hauptmann Garrick, our company's colossus, a titan with a torso like twisted oak and eyes burning with Baltic fire, commanded from on high, his silhouette a silhouette of saga. Our alter ego Gefreiter Heitmann cut a comic cameo. A stalwart soul perpetually plagued by a purulent pustule on his nape, masked by a monumental plaster that peeled like a defeated flag from his collar's clasp. Sergeant Major Hauptfeldwebel Xerox loomed largest, a leviathan with a ledger of lashes, his punishment tome thrust like a talisman twixt tunic's top buttons, a vellum vade mecum of villainy. Over ensuing epochs, my moniker marred its margins with monotonous malice, ink blots of indiscipline, though his spectral sojourns spared us his scourge. When the specter materialized, pandemonium prevailed, his extrasensory edict, Sergeant's sixth sense, honed sharper than scimitars, sniffing sin from afar, reducing rookies to quivering quail. Yet rarity redeemed him. Our deity, Garrick, graced us sparingly, a war god glimpsed in glimpses, his presence a pantheon unto itself. Our crucible commenced with cruelty's calculus, unbelievably unforgiving, yet equitable as the equator sun. Tempo's torrent swept thought's shore, dawn's reveille a rifle's ram to ribs till vespers veil, no interlude for introspection's itch. Season spun swift in sweat solvent, yet epiphany etched eternal. Career soldiers' chains chafed my chivalrous core, gag-gab quashed queries, fealty's fetter forbidding debate or defiance, anathema to my anarchical anima, though for this duo annum, docility's discipline demanded a damper on my defiance's dam. Amid myriad malefactions muster, one punitive parade's perdition, where my rebels' retort riled the ranks, a Pomeranian Obgefreiter, maw yawning from lug to lug like a lamprey's lure, loomed leering. Popple, aren't you finished yet? Basic parachute baptism, tumbling travesties on trapezes, harnesses hauling us heavenward in hempen halos. Halted at harnessism, inaugural ingress beckoned. Of vertigo's vow we visualized in vigilant voids, nerves knotted like mooring lines. Post-torrential tempest. A septets soak in Stendhal's sluicing skies. We stirred to solstice splendor. Airfields apron awash in auroral amber. Shoots chrysalis in canvas cocoons. Why the hush's hegemony? Banter's babble banished, bromide's bubble burst. Pensive pallor preceding the plunge. Yesternight's yarn spinning, awake's whimsy, birthed my bequest. Frivolity's forgery, my last wish. A wife with spectacles. A jest jotted in juvenilia. Unearthed by Moody in March 45's miasma. Her heart halting at the hieroglyph. Proof he's prowling paradise, she pondered. Parcels portent a phantom's pledge. Circuits spiral skyward. Canary orbits o'er ochre fields. Hatches maw magnetizes. Vanguard vaults. Void's vertigo vanquished in a gasp's glory. Nimbus nudge. Descents dreamlike drift to dirt's dalliance. Terrace tang. Canopies clutch corralled. I anointed airborne aristocrat. Report wrapped. Oberleutnant Malgiger popple. Premier plummet pristine. Trainer's tribute. Thy tumble tops the tally. Triggers triumphs torrent. Chest swelling like a spinnaker in squall. Sextuple and duodenary descents dispatch sans snag. Hauptmann crows kudos, crowns a cadre. Eulogies echo or ennui's eclipse. Intellect's increment or irritation's issue. Dispatch to signal sanctum. Room 2's relay rookery. A fugue of frequencies and foxhole frequencies. Day's dregs dissolve in dispatch to second company sanctum. Gefreiter Eric Sasha, Soroka's sibling in room 9. A paragon of probity. His saga scroll soon scripted in strife stanzas. Vicissitudes vexed. Obergiger Schunfeld, a spite spectre, snared my sartorial sin. A sprig of elastic errant on my exercise ensemble. His writ a wasp's waspish wine. Oberfeldwebel Mosa, Swabia's sturdy son, with a frame like Franconia's forests, mused my manservant's mantle. Me, maladroit in my own mundungus, let alone another's accoutrements. Dropped like a dud grenade at my demurral. Spare hours for scholarship siege, a fib filched from fancy. For femininity's fancy eclipsed all folios. Lesser lords, the lancejacks, Gefreiters, lurked like lesser leeches. Wickets snagged my nocturnal nip, post lights out's lark. Report revoked, fortnight's fortress. My penance a palisade of parades. Quintuagenary kilometers quandary, full fig and frequencies freight. A festering forge for feet's folly. Blisters ballooned barbarous, lazaretto's lotion, iodine's inferno, talc's tepid truce. Suspected substitutes for succor scant. Nocturne's nexus, NAV's navigation, sketches Sybil and prismatic prong. Holsupfel, Schaefer, my minion, we mastered the maze. Victor's viaticum a vacation's vow. August anvil, wild Flecken's wilds, that Württemberg waste of wire and woe. March's maelstrom, alert's anguish, leads liturgy, ether's echo. Exhaustion's empire, bunk's bosom a bomb's brief. Sweat spares sanguine, truism's testament. Later laureled in Leeds ledger. Oblivious then, oaths obloquy are only obeisance. Stripes stigma a scarlet scorn. Forges fruition flowered. Regimental rebels rubric singled signals synergy. Oberstleutnant Gratier, Austria's alpine archon. Acclaimed our arcana's artistry. Wild Flecken's whip, better nails nail biting than fortnight's Flecken. Motto's mordant mirth. Schuller's stratagem. Telefunken's teleology, Berlin's beckoning. Diversion's delight, welcomed as wine. Welcomed warmly, works wander. Paxet's provenance, valve's veiled viscera. Training's tactile twin. Canteen's collation, cuisine's caress. Cascades to capital's carousel. Kiddam's kaleidoscope of Kaufhaus eclat, Kaiser Wilhelm's Kirche a keening ruin. Fernseturm's finger to firmament. U-Bahn's underworld a novelty's nexus. Munich's modest, maize marooned in memory's mist. Bus's bust, breakdown's bite, boreal's brace, shiver siege. Monotony's muzzle menaced, mischief's muse mobilized. Sextet souls scripted for Stendhal's solitary schottish. Soldier's soiree, scandalizing the salon swells. Dress gray's gloss, grazing the gentry's gowns. Sensation spark. Lever's lark, rosette's rubric, silk snow. Ribbon's runes for paramour's initials. JB's jape, IB's inkling, Gale's guffaw. September Sabre, 1 Estes alarum, rucksacks rigged, armaments arrayed, affairs adjourned. Dawn's dirge at 5 a.m. Septet surge to Silesia's shroud. Lignit's lair, operational oasis presumed. Noon's nexus, Kazernan conventional, Concrete's clasp, Führer's Philippic, Poland's perdition proclaimed. Skepticism's shadow or skepticism's shroud. Craving's crux, Cascade's clarion, combat's consummation. Aurora's affront. 7 a.m.'s accolade. Army's avalanche, Luftwaffe's lightning. Zeal zenith, Zephyr's a zeal. Yet war's whirlwind waning? Unbearable umbrage. Telephonic tether. 6:45 p.m.'s post. Canteen's call, croon's kiss. 7:15's tardy toll. Indictment's ink. Infringement's irony. Action's anchor. Oversight's oasis. Britannia's bell. Britain's belligerence. Youth's yen, vendetta's vow. Hitlerjugend enmity. RAD's rancor. Albion's archfoe. Lignit's lure languished. Legion's lore, lassitude's lash. Restlessness rigor. Rampage's rumor. Postponed plummet. Panzer's panoply piercing Warsaw's walls. Unneeded's nadir, aircraft's annulment. Receiver's reprise. Anti-aircraft's arcana acquainted. Disappointment's draft drowned in damsel's dalliance. Despair's draft diluted. Day's dregs. Führer's fanfare 11 p.m.'s edict. Evacuation's eve. 5 a.m.'s lorries to Breslau's border. Anti-tanks Aegis arcs. Thatch's tableau. Thatch's thatch. Thoroughfare's trough. Filth's facade. Rags ragged. Dudia's Kaftankin. Beard's bramble amid blazes beer. Sand's sepulchre 25 cm sink. Dust's devil dances. Dusk's dirge. Midnight's milestone. Zagisursa's zephyr near Dublin. Station sojourn. Night's niche. Consolation's crumb. Dublin's depot. Bomb's baptism. Wreck's wreckage. Pea's yell carcasses charred. Cloth's cache. Equipage's echo. Vermontni's vice. RAD's rapin. Vistula's verge. Vaderland's vanguard. Rumor's rune. Reich's reclamation. Milk's munificence. Yeoman's yield. Smoke swap Polak's primer. Jaiko Malako Kleb Farah. Tongue's twist. Kazernan's keel. Modern's miracle. Unhewn but upright. Stendel's splendor shamed. Hovel's horror. Souvenir surfeit. Masks miasma. Blades bite. Inspection's inquisition. Impeccability's irony. Casemate's cornucopia. Coppa's cash. Lead's ledger. Zinc's ziggurat. Reich's rapacious return. Dawn's dirge. For AM's lorries. Lethargy's lash. Sporadic spatter. Ace's ache. Unblooded's umbrage. Kieltsa's crossroads versus Steino's vestige. 40 kilometers Czech's cusp. Dudia's jacks in Jack's jackets. Clarence's chain. Schoolhouse's sanctum. Unscathed spire. Unpacks pause. Obersauster. Some inspector. Schuller's shadow. Rocket's reprise. Ritter's right. Gefreiter's gleam. Largesse's lift. Lording's lure. Deborah's detachment. Pack's phalanx. Regiment's relay. Rubbish's requiem. War's whimper. Magdeburg's muster. Stendel's salute. Stott's splendor. Apple's autumn. Smoke's sacrament. Bloom's bouquet. Hero's hollow. Poland's phantom. Barrack's bosom. Room 9's reunion. Elfie's ember. Ruth's rouge. Inga's inkling. Judgen's joy. Dagmar's dalliance. Coffee's caress. Needle's nexus. Vaudeland's vault. Tavernum's tide. Tardy toll. Trouble's tryst. Schunfeld's snare. Nocturnal snip. Duo's durance. October 23. RD's odyssey. Notebook's nest. Tome's trove. Fag's fug. Cell's chimera. Wardrobe's wall. Paper's pretense. Window's whisper. Straw's swaddle. Comrade's conclave. Neatness nod. Objefreiter's obloquy. Dog's ends dodge. Unproven's umbrage. November's nadir. Schunfeld's spite. Mockery's misdemeanor. Drill's dirge. Barrack's bond. Trap's tenacity. Schuller's summons. Tyrolean's trek. Limp's legacy. Popple's peril. Straffledger's specter. About face axiom. Training's tempest. Tumble's tango. Ether's echo. Farm's fate. Frau's feast. Breakfast's bounty. November's nocturne. Femininity's fire. Paratrooper's purse pinched. Ring's ransom. Moody's munificence. Miracle's mend. January's jolt. Home's horizon. Fair's frugality. Platform's pauper. Rejoicing's rapture. Dresses dazzle. Belt's buckle. Stripes sheen. Arms Aegis, inscriptions ink. Kin's kaleidoscope, acquaintances acclaim, school siblings, Munich's minuet, damsels dance, brunette's gaze, dowie depths, Unterofficier's umbrage, Gefreiter's glory. Schönfeld sequel. Skew scourge, Christmas chill, New Year's nix, Ma's manna, Parcel's panacea. January's jubilee. Har's heights, Bronlich's bomb. Hickory's heirloom, Train's trove, Coffee's caress, Coed's cadence, Slope's splendor, Downhill's dash, Bravado's blaze, Bump's betrayal, Somersault's spectacle, Ski's splinter. Pride's precipice, Fall's fable. Phipp's pilgrimage, Dietrich's duo, Damsel's delight, Dance's dalliance. Youth's yoke, Virtue's veil, Fascination's forge, Paus pledge, Goethe's grasp, Garda's grace. Training's titan, Alert's anguish, March's maelstrom. Radio's requiem, Operation's omen. May's mystery. Potterborn's pall, Secrecy's shroud, Post-prohibition. Falsa's fanfare, Frey's fruition. Cloudless canopy, Dawn's dirge, Jew's juggernauts, Laden's lift. Holland's horizon, Armada's arc, Stuka's snarl, Fighter's phalanx. A's aspersion, Zero zenith. 0510's oath, Plunge's purity, Parachute's pall, Ditch's labyrinth, Chord's command. Wet's warding, Roll's ritual, Container's claim. HQ's him, House's haven. Tea's tepid, Bread's butter. Populace's phantom, Hun's horror. Telephonic's toll, Barrack's barrage, Field phone's fall, Schuler summons, Volunteer's vanguard, Gutler, Fleischmann, Sepp Guy, Asperger, Hans Becker, Jop bombs, Soroka sprint. Hedges haven, Fleischmann's fall, Bold's bolt, Death's dart. HMG's him, Commander's clarion, Attack's anthem, Roof's requiem. Gaisberger's groan, Schuler's sundered, Bomb's burden, Jaius's gasp. Dying's decree, self-sacrifice. Outbuilding's odyssey. Canteen's caress, Chocolate's chug, Farmstead's fringe, 8 meters maw, Wildfire's waste, Window's ward. MG's ministration, Grenade's gospel, Scream's symphony, Horse's hysteria, Comrade's charge, Surrender shroud. 63's quorum, Dozen's defiance. Iron's ink, EKI's eclat, posthumous pang. Dinkle's dirge, Bamberg's boy, Barrage spite. Twist's tableau, Silence's shroud. Dordrecht's dirge, Demise's dawn. Eiselstein's isle, Dutch's dust, Border's beer, Schuler, Dinkel, Fleischmann, Gaisberger. Yupp's yarrow, Tribute's tear. Prisoner's procession, Regimental's roost. Tiny's tableau, House's hush, Rumor's riptide. England's embargo, Encirclement's echo. Brower's bastion, Cap's crown, Telescope's tear, Shell's serenade. Paratrooper's panache, Wounded's wail, Night's niche, Sweat's stench. Blood's bouquet, Groan's ground base, Rasping's requiem. Brett's betrayal, War's whisper. Bicycle's blitz. Copybook's calculus, Cycle's chorus, 300 meters melee. Line's lash, Officer's oracle. Proximity's peril, Fire's flood. Dordrecht's detachments, Rating's requiem, Reconnaissance's rune. Rosie's rot, Commander's calm. Tank's thunder, Triumph's tide. Ike-Tooth's emblem, Holland's holocaust, 19th's nectar, Youth's yoke. Trondheim's trek, Garrison's glow, Blitz's blaze, Island's inkling. England's eagle, Spearhead surge. Narvik's nadir, Sailor's siege, Jeberg's Jager's gauntlet, Walter's ward, Mountain's march. Druntheim's dirge, Lorry's leap, Ship's sway, Train's toil, Airfield's arc, Nail's necessity. Climbing's claw, Lead's legacy, Bavaria's bomb, Nordic's nix. Pullover's plush, Knee's kneel. North's nexus, Fuel's fret, Duo's deficit. Cramp's crown, Cold's caress. Fighter's flank, Zero zenith. 80 meters maw, Snow's sink. Boulder's bosom. Hut's haven, Wood's warmth, Dusk's duvet. Midnight's mirage, Sun solstice. Line's lament, Semicircle's squeeze, Sweden's specter. Inspection's irony. Tommy's tiptoe, Silent slip, Retreat's riddle. Tommy's tango, Later's lore. Trolley's trek, Mining's maw, Equipment's elegy, Rombuck's rubble. Fjord's flotilla, Warship's wreck. Stuka's sting, Harbor's holocaust. Face's frost, Friend's flight. Nuremberg's nest, Cruiser's caress, Queen's query. Fjord's fjord, Rock's refuge, Air's alarum. Coffin's clasp, Face's fray, Navy's nix. Oslo's odyssey, March's measure, surrender stare, Oslo's obloquy, warning's whip. Izap's inkling. Freighter's fold, Munich's muse, Narvik's notch, shield sheen. Holland's halo, EKI's ink, Obgafreiter's gleam. Courage's cash, Boots buff, joke's jest. Gardaligan's garrison. MG's minion, signal shade, welcome's warmth, Shera's shine, Lojuski's lore, mercenary's medal, border's badge. Reichswehr's right, Spain's spur, cross's crest, cap's cant. Schnaps's sacrament. Company's chorus, commander's crusade. MG's mastery, circle's calculus, mortar's minuet, shot's surety. Freck's flare, Femford's forge, Peastein's polish. Schmidt's script, Mulder's metal, reliable's rune. Painter's prowess. Bavaria's brawn, rebellion's roar, Stabscharfer's stature, wild's woe. Helfer's helm, stab sting, misdemeanor's mend. Promotion's peril, bravery's bond. Troops tighten. War's wheel. Indispensability's ink, Schmidt's shackles. Kruzek's kinship, Russian's ruse, Polish's polish, town's temptress. Girl's glow. Mutine's minuet, Deutsch's house's draft. Course's crown. Top's tally, Feldwebel's forge, circle sanctum, Smash's saga. German house's grudge, landlord's lash. Front's fealty, silence's seal. Grafenwehr's grind. Fortnight's forge, Leeds liturgy. March's maelstrom. 19-23 RD's odyssey. Bayroth's blister. Weissmain's vice, Kronach's crux. Puss's pour, Iodine's inferno. Dance's dare, Ginger's gate. Exhaustion's empire. Hardening's him, action's ache, imminence's inkling. April's annex, Buettner's bond, Calamy's kin, Stracheen's shade, Ordenskillen's oath, probation's proof. Comrade's conclave, laughter's libation. Family's forge. May's muster, Saltkey sightings, Entrainment's echo, Berlin's blackout, Dresden's dome, Tetchen's toll, Bodenbach's bridge, Prague's prang, Gemund's gloom, Vienna's vault, Sichelom's chill, Gyoker's gate, Budapest's bustle. Station siesta, Band's ballad, Butner's bellows, Femfort's thrum, Gypsy's grace, Fiddle's fire, Cigarette's cascade. Said serpent Mako's maw, Arad's arc, may 6 ths disembark. Timishwara's trek, Lugod's lane, Karansever's cusp, Orsova's oracle, Danube's dirge. Iron gate's ingress, Trajan's trail. Severin's shadow, Crayova's curve, Carakal's camp, may 8 ths Danube dash, Engineer's edifice, Bulgaria's breast. Pleven's plain, Loveka's lore, Vratsaw's vale, Botsford's bastion, Sophia's spire, Dopnika's dusk, Driver's dirge, Dust's devil. Sidecar's sway, Doze's drift, Helmet's hammer, Goggle's ghost, Monster's mask, Patch's pallor. Gypsy's gambit, Begging's bite, Breast's brazen, Gold's gleam, Bangle's bind, Thievery's touch, Scent siren, Sweet shroud. Metaxa's maw, Salonica's sentinel, Ellison's echo, Olympus opal. May 10 th's majesty. Pass's peril, Larissa's labyrinth, Thermopylae's throat, Narrow's nexus, Ravine's requiem. Rex wreckage, Soldier's salve, Driver's dash, May 13 th's Levadia lull. Wash's whisper, Limb's languor. Fascination's fate, Danube's dazzle, Gate's grandeur, Olympus oath, Salonica's sea, People's pageant. Romania's rot, Saxon sparkle, Gypsy's grime. Bulgaria's brawn, Prussia's proxy, Strawberry spring, Honey's hoard, Greek skies. Helen's hue, Otto's odyssey, Cleanser's crown. Haggle's hag, Shine's spark, Stuka's synonym. Superlative's seal. Tanagra's tense, English's echo, Olive's oasis. Hitlerjigen's hygiene, Polish's panoply, Sunburn's scourge, Beard's blade, Scat's sacrament, Beer's boon. Wild's wagon, Ertz tomb. Hubert's hubris, Marshall's mirage. Reich's marshal's riddle. Enemy's east, Gray's gloom, direction's drift. Dawn's dirge, Vineyard's vanguard, Airfield's arc. Hell's hail, Injury's ink, Obergiger's ordeal. Abdomen's agony, Freck's fortune. Nose's notch, Blow's ballet, Blood's baptism. Hill's holocaust, Groan's ground, Cries crescendo, Withdrawal's woe, White's ward. Wounded's wail, Orderly's odyssey, Ditch's dash, Road's rush. Hollow's haven, 30 strong, 40's fold. Debate's dirge, Hintzier's hint, Surrender's spectre, Feldwebel's feist. Nay's nexus. Vehicles vogue, English's echo, coastal's cusp, bushes bind, jettison's judgment, seas surge, stragglers stream, hills haven, runes resolve, battle's birth. Fresh as fire, cigarette sacrament, Raikovsky's route, guns ghost, reliable's relic. Units union, lines lash, queries quandary. Heraclean's horizon, breakthroughs blaze, tiredness tide, despondency's dam, sleep spectre. Dawn's devoir, coastal's clarion, six squad, slope slant, undergrowth's umbra, olive's oracle, 3 hours him. Heraclean's A's, contact's call, returns requiem. Rifle's ripple, MG's minuet, partisan's pallor, armband's arc, rearward's requiem, rune's rout, casualties count, burial's bite, grave's ghost, war's wheel. Reki's relay, ravine's riddle, town's tiptoe, evacuation's echo, Raikovsky's redemption, village's vigil, cover's caress, self-salve, success's shroud, flight's forgiveness. Aid's arc, bay's bosom, panel's panoply, ration's remnant, ammo's ache, Heinkel's ale, wings wink, supplies surfeit, oil's oracle, refreshed renewal hills him. 2CM's thunder, white's wreck, enemies exodus, mountain's maw. Reorg's rubric, airfield's encore, motorcycle's mirage, jeep's jubilee, Jeberg's Jager's grace, Malim's maelstrom, Ram's rampart, cost's calculus, hill's hegemony, Crete's crown. Heroic's hymn, bitter spite, spearhead sepulchre, Churchill's curse, recovery's requiem. Rethymno's requiem, prisoner's procession, container's claim, burial's burden, drown's dirge, equipment's entomb, plain's perdition, Mont's mosaic, order's obit, Mueller's medal, Am's absence. Begus's bravery, foot's fury, orderly's odyssey, stomach's sundered, chest's chasm, wild's ward, tank's trinket, gin's grace, shoulder shard, Butner's bane, Calamy's kin, vineyard's vigil, road's requiem. Survivor's salve, tropical's trove, Huber's handiwork, swimsuit stitch, singer's song, alabaster's allure, Cretan's chuckle. Quarter's quay, waterside's whisper, flea's fug, Shera's sacrifice, sand's sentinel. Suda's suds, Stuka's sting, warship's wake, mystery's maze, Jew's juggernaut, A's arcana. Numerical's nadir, spirit steel, will's weld, leadership's lapse, legion's laurel, EKI's equity, student salve, Crete's cuff, Popple's pride, Eagle's etch, Oak's oath, Merit's medal, Velvet's void. Unit's umbrage, loss's ledger, last's leap, war's wheel, survivor's sojourns, Malim's mound, 107's obelisk, 4,500's fold, youth's yoke, 18th's echo, 20's vigil, 22's vow, Blucher's brood, dynasty's dirge. Student spectre, bitter's ballad, Ringler's requiem, epic's elegy, Liddell heart's laud, astonishing's arc, bold's blaze, cross's censure, warning's whisper. Godaligan's garrison, Air's arc, train's trek, Stott salute, cheers chorus.